rounds. Toney has been 10 3 times. Sosa has been 10 5 times. And I think they both are chugging a little bit here.
I think so too.
Merqui Sosa's hands are so low, it's unreal. It's really amazing. I mean, I have never seen a boxer with his hands this low consistently over the course of a whole bout.
Well,
Very slow.
one thing about it, he'll never get hit in the thighs.
And Toney having a hard time hitting him right now. Both men have slowed their pace considerably, though. Sosa probably doing a little bit more versus volume of punches. Neither man landing very well.
I just don't see much snap in Sosa's punches. He seems to wind up with a lot of his power punches. So we come to the end of the 9th round. And I'm not quite sure what to say about it all.
Nice, nice. Toney coming up with the uppercut, cuffing him a little bit. One punch landing in there well for Toney, but very strange pace to this fight. And most of that due to Sosa, but now I think Toney is a little bit fatigued, and so his technique is not as good as it was. He's landing as sharply as he could have.
I'll tell you what it does do. It makes any thought that this is, in fact, a championship of any sort a pretty ludicrous thought.
Yeah, well, these are not world champion fighters, obviously. The IBC is a new organization. Ooh, my.
So the Lord Toney will have as much time as he needs.
These are fighters on their way, and especially in Toney's case. Sosa, I don't know, but Toney, obviously a prospect who is hovering in the top 10, but and I believe a point was taken away from Sosa. It's interesting because I haven't really seen that many low blows from him.
No, that was really the first one that I can remember. So awkward that even when he throws punches, he's so off balance with his punches that they just don't have anything on him. They just push.
Very much arm punches. Sticking the left hand. Now there he lands with a pretty good left hook. It's going to be tough rounds to score here.
Yeah.
They're so, you know, so ugly.
That's the word I was thinking of.
They really are. And the punching is not very precision, as Toney had earlier in the bout, first 5, 6, 7 rounds. And then I think as fatigue has set in, his technique has been less. Sosa is going to the body pretty well.
Right now. Left hand, left hand, left hand. Down, don't wait.
Well, I can tell you, if you're going to do a how-to film on the sport of boxing, you're going to use Sosa as the before.
Yeah, this is true. Well, James, Toney thought this bout would be over by now, but he looks like he is heading into, they're both heading into virgin territory, the 11th round.
So we come to the end of round number 10. We are scheduled for 12, and you have to think it would need a knockout.
I burn with desire each time my heart.
I think we can safely deduce that from this punch. I mean, that was low, and that's probably why a point was deducted. That was right there. one of the first low shots that I remember Sosa. He's thrown a few, but nothing approaching that.
And Toney Orlando did take a point away, and that makes this fight even more lopsided. 4-point fight now and 2 rounds to go. That would indicate to me that Sosa has to get him out of there.
Yeah, I feel that. And I would think it would be that way in the judges' scorecards. Tough fight to judge, though, really. Last few rounds. There's Toney with a pretty good combination. There's the jab that he has not been using.
Toney has just done more. I think it would be very hard to make a case for Sosa having won this fight.
Yes, I feel that too, because his punches have not landed flush that often. Almost as if in the last half of this fight, though, Toney has been mesmerized by the odd style of Sosa, whereas early on with all that energy, it looked like he was ready to take him out, wanted to, had him down. But there's a good hook by Toney. Look at that. See, he's right there for the jab. Boy, it's astonishing to me why he hasn't been doubling up with that jab like that most of the night. Those weren't real hard jabs, but they all landed. He's been piling up more points with them. There again, look. Can't miss him with that jab almost. There it is. There's the stick. And for James Toney, that is the ticket to winning this fight easily. And the hook is right there also. Look at that. Look at that. Where was that jab for the last 5 rounds? Last 6, 7 rounds. Giving him just enough lateral movement.
Yeah, Toney really seems to have it all figured out right at the moment.
He's doing the things that he can do that Sosa can't. And for a long time there, he was really fighting Sosa's fight, winning it basically, but keeping Sosa in the bout. Putting a punctuation point on this match, a round to go. Probably he's taken all hope from Sosa winning away in this round, unless it's going to be a knockout to 12.
And that would fall under the category of miracle, I think. 3 minutes of boxing left, and we'll be back.
Georgetown's Dikembe Mutombo tries to...
Only for the fact that that's one of those fights you really don't have any idea who's going to win.
No, very, very closely contested bout. The power of Meekins against the boxing ability of Ali. Should be quite interesting.
Quite interesting for this man, too.
He's a game guy, and he's tried hard, but has not shown a lot of ability.
It's hard for me to acknowledge that somebody fights with that style as a game guy. Yeah, he's a tough guy, but...
He's landed his share. It's just that... You know, obviously he got those guys out of there somehow. He must have something he can land. I keep going back to him even beating Williams. Total punch is an indication of how Toney is ahead. And in the last round, interestingly, Toney landed 19 of 28 jabs. And he jabbed more, and that really helped him.
Stay under.
And your card indicates, of course, that Toney has the fight in hand unless Sosa should come up with a miracle knockout.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's very hard to take this bout away from Jim Toney. Another low blow by Sosa. Toney's giving himself room a little bit better in the last 2 rounds. Punching room and the ability to move. Instead of laying in with Sosa. Well, I don't think James Toney is probably ready to challenge anybody for the middleweight title, but he's on the track anyway. And probably could use some more tune-ups before they would put him in with a champion or even the #1 or 2 contender.
Hard to make a real judgment on James Toney because the awkward style that Sosa presents for him. It's very hard to look good under any circumstances.
Probably the only discouraging element of this performance would be that he did slow down for about 3 or 4 rounds. You know, he hasn't been too bad in the last couple rounds, but he didn't wear well toward the end of this fight, Toney. Excellent half uppercut, half hook. He has hit Sosa with some huge shots in this bout. Except for that one flash knockdown, Sosa has been unhurt.
Yeah, and in fact, he had the swelling that is under his eyes now after the end of the first round. It's no worse now than it was then. Well, I have to concur with you. I don't quite know how Sosa has knocked out all the people he has knocked out, but he has. And
just doesn't get the kind of leverage on his punches you would expect.
Sure doesn't.
To see a guy get knockouts with. Well, for James Toney, though, he is putting a period on what for him is a nice win. Both men very tired right now, especially Toney.
So let's take nothing away from James Toney. Did what he needed to do, and we feel has come away with a decision here over a guy that's a tough guy to fight. And a guy who had won 18 in a row coming in here, 14 of them by knockout. But it's a mystery to this boy.
Well, it's such an odd style that as you look at, well, let's look at our totals, and you see a big edge for James Toney. Nearly 100 punches, a little less than 100 punches, and that's Jackie Callan, the manager of James Toney.
Both these fighters incidentally managed by women, and I don't know when the last time, if ever, there has been a championship fight where the two managers have been women.
That is a rarity. There are certainly women managers in boxing, but as you said, often they don't face each other. Yeah, James Toney showed skills, especially early in this bout, to let you know why they consider him a good contender and a good prospect. But then I think fatigue really robbed him of some of the technical abilities he has.
But it is a W, and a good W for him, beating an undefeated fighter, and he'll have a belt to wear too, assuming the decision goes the way we anticipate. And we are about to find out that decision as we head up to the center of the ring, and the ring announcer, the inimitable Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the official scoring. We have a split decision.
Whoa, mama.
Well, there you are.
John Poteray scores about 115 to 112. He has it for James Toney. John Riley scores it 114 to 113 for Merqui Sosa.
Wow.
And William Costa scores it 117 to 109 for the winner of this IBC Junior World Middleweight title by split decision, James Lights Out Toney.
Well, once again, widely divergent scorecards amongst the three judges, but Toney is the winner, but it is by split decision. We'll talk to him.